What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Hot Mic here live on the Outlaw Nation channel. I'm the Outlaw John Rocha, joined as always by the man there who's got a new website up now for you all to go and read his points of views and other writers' points of views there. Jeff Sneider, how are you, Jeff?
I am great. That website is abovetheline.com. It is officially launched after being teased on this podcast for the past couple of weeks. It is a sister site to Below the Line, same publisher.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it's just, an alternative news source, if you will.
What's the point of view of that website versus Below the Line? Obviously, Above the Line being the directors, the actors, whatever. But is there a point of view you're taking?
I would say the point of view is probably a little bit edgier, because I don't know really. I don't want to say I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to Below the Line, but I obviously don't know it as well as I do Above the Line
right,
stuff.
Right.
So I think if there's, a more insidery tone to it, it's less sanitized coverage than I think that you'll find in the trades. It'll always have that kind of thing or whatever, that line that they wish you didn't have to include, but, on the site we'll be including it. So
okay, I like it. Feels it's kind of unfiltered in the way we approach things here. It's unfiltered in the way it seems like you guys approach things there within reason, of course, because you've got some responsibility.
Yeah, exactly. I still have a responsibility to the readers. It can't just be my Twitter feed, right? Unhinged, like this is his website to right all wrongs. Like, I want this to be a trade. I guess my style has always been somewhere between a trade and a commercial site.
Yeah,
whether it was a Collider and I was bringing a sort of insidery take to a commercial site,
right.
Or being at a trade and still offering my opinion on things.
Right.
But anyways, the site looks way better than Below the Line. So
wow, already trying to compare. All right, I respect that. You got to build it up.
We're going to give Below the Line a facelift eventually.
Fair enough. Sorry. So we are starting off today and have some fun talking about big news going on in the world of entertainment over the next 60 minutes. Jeff and I are going to take turns just talking about stuff and getting into things for sure. And there's going to be some controversial things like Will Smith, Apple's decision to release Emancipation.
There's nothing more controversial than what we are about to talk about. Okay, John, do you want to talk about this? I'm like, do I want to talk about it? We're going to lead the show with this. Okay,
please go ahead.
He's like, did you see the Super Mario Brothers trailer?
Yes.
Was like, yeah, it looked fucking awesome. And I'm like, what'd you think? And he's like, I don't really know what to think. I never played the game. What?
Yeah.
How have you never played Super Mario, John? What is wrong with you?
I think it just missed my time. It just missed my time, and I never found my way back to play. I never played Zelda either. It just wasn't
Zelda's overrated.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. But I was of that age where I was at that point where I crossed the Rubicon.
Were you in the military? Were these the military?
Yeah, years? I was in the military. Yes. I was in the military during all my 20s. So
they didn't have Duck Hunt in the military. You're shooting real people there.
Who did it for real? Yeah, exactly. No. Yeah, so I wasn't, but I know this is something that people obsess over, and out of respect for the property, I didn't do a trailer reaction because I don't know what I'm looking at, and I didn't want to insult anybody who is a video game fan. Because
this is how I feel with Star Wars and Lord of and everything, basically all the geek properties. I'm like, what am I looking at? What the hell is going on? But I knew exactly what was going on in Super Mario. It was awesome.
Yeah,
seeing Mario enter the Mushroom Kingdom like that. And Toad is going to be like his guide through it, and like Bowser was sort of the star of the trailer. You know, Jack Black's take on it
as the villain.
I am so excited for this. This movie is going to be fucking huge. It's going to be gigantic.
Hector Navarro already said that he thinks it's going to make $1 billion. So I think
it could probably be $2 billion.
I mean, $2 billion.
What are Minions movies doing? $1.1 billion, $1.2 billion?
Something like that, yeah.
It could be $1.5 billion, $1.7 billion, just like Top Gun or something. Like, it's going to be gigantic because everyone fucking loves Mario, and we haven't had a Mario movie. We had that crappy Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo movie. It's campy. Some people have fun with it. I think it's kind of lame.
Yeah.
this is it. This means a lot to a lot of people.
Okay. Well, talk to me about how the trailer went along, because I mean, there was the big reaction and from people, of course, we're a reactionary society now, with Chris Pratt being cast as Mario. We barely got some lines from him right at the end of the trailer. There's a hint of an Italian accent.
Is there?
It was just right on the edges. As an actor, I'm listening, and there's a hint of it right on the edges, but you're not getting the "it's a me." So clearly, they're not going that route.
We definitely didn't want that. I didn't want like some stereotypical, I don't know, Italian caricature, and I don't think that would have served Chris Pratt very well. But it did kind of sound just like Chris Pratt. I don't know how much like voice acting was necessarily going on there. Maybe you sensed it.
I did right at the edges. He's a Mushroom Kingdom. He said it was just a little bit right on the edges. It's not overt, but it's there, and I think that's a smart move. And the directors of this film said over and over and over again that people are going to be surprised by what Chris Pratt does in voicing over this character. And already from the small sample we got at the end of the trailer, I was like, this is a smart actor. He understands. You don't want to go too far. You want to just give a hint. And it's not always easy to modulate your voice to deliver a hint. You've got to really understand, practice, look at the script, really go through it, find those moments to maybe do a hint of an Italian accent there on the edges. And that's going to give people subconsciously the idea that you are of an Italian heritage. So it's smart by Chris, because, of course, I don't think he's of Italian heritage. I'm assuming he isn't. So it's a smart move for sure. But we did see we saw Wario, right? Did we see Wario or did we see Luigi? Was it Luigi at the end there?
It's Luigi, yeah.
Sorry, guys. So we saw Luigi. All right, Luigi. All right, so judging from the animation, though, it looks like they spent a real bunch of money here, Jeff. They have a look to this thing that feels very much like
I'm sure that when Nintendo made this deal, they're like, you guys, I swear to God, every time we do this podcast, they start vacuuming outside the apartment here. But so yeah. I think if they went A-list all the way with this, I mean, just look at the cast.
Anya Taylor-Joy, for God's sakes.
Yeah, I mean, you know, maybe Charlie Day isn't, but I think he's perfect for this.
People like Charlie Day, though. You know?
Oh, I love Charlie Day. I love Charlie Day. So I am so excited for this. I do think that you're right that they spent a pretty penny for it, but then they know full well it's going to come back to them. I mean, if Sonic the Hedgehog was as big as it was, Mario was always twice as big as Sonic, or three times as big. I think that'll hold here. So I anticipate an over $100 million opening for this movie, even in this post-pandemic, era.
Wow. Well, and it's written by Matthew Fogel, who did the Lego Movie 2, the second part. He also did Minions: The Rise of Gru, and he did something called Big Mama. I guess he did the screenplay for Big Mama's Like Father, Like Son. So not a hugely strong resume, but certainly, hopefully, he's gonna get the beats right on this, and certainly experience with animation.
Boy's dream job, though. Like, imagine getting to write the Super Mario movie. That's wild.
True. And the directors here are from Teen Titans Go, so that was a film that was very well received. Teen Titans Go to the movies, and of course the Teen Titans series himself. So it bodes well. And as you say, the lineup here, cast wise, is incredible with Chris Pratt, Anya Taylor-Joy, Jack Black, Seth Rogen, Keegan Michael Key, even some great voiceover veterans in Kevin Michael Richardson being a part of this as well. So that's a good thing. And Fred Armisen, who is always fun to watch on screen or listen to, being a part of this cast as well. And, of course, as you mentioned, Charlie Day. So, yeah, good stuff. The reaction has been out of this world. People have been loving the trailer.
This could be a gigantic franchise that's with us for the next 15 years.
Wow. Okay. Strong statement, Jeff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please send in your Streamlabs and Super Chats. That's how we fund everything we do on the show and here on the Outlaw Nation channel as well. I pinned the Streamlabs address right there in the chat. It's also right on the screen. Let's hit a couple of these real quick. Travis Earl says, if a gay film needs the entire gay community to show up and make it a hit because straight audiences avoided it completely, that is homophobia. I get that the film had no stars, I'm sorry. Let me read. He read one. I was worried about what he was referring. He's talking about Neil Turret's Above the Line. He had a piece on Bro's box office failure. And Travis is saying this was the only one I've read that acknowledged homophobia played a part in the film's box office failure. Everyone else seemed eager to dismiss this idea. If a gay film needs the entire gay community to show up and make it a hit because Straight audiences avoided it completely. That is homophobia. I get that the film had no stars or a high concept hook, but homophobia undoubtedly hurt it. What am I missing? So this is your colleague there, Neil Turitz, who wrote about that. And Travis is not wrong. A lot of people came back at Billy Eichner when he tweeted about Bros and the $4 million opening when he said that straight people didn't show up. But a lot of people, including Scott Mendelson at Forbes, other box office watchers, said people across the board didn't show up, gay or straight, female or male, whatever ethnicity, they did not show up for this movie. So do you think Neil is right that homophobia played a part in this?
I mean, unfortunately,
okay.
Yeah, I think he is. I mean, okay. I think there's a line in his column where, I edited it. So
okay.
There was a line in his column that was like, it's 2022. He's not naive to the world that we live in.
Right.
And I'll put it this way. So if you check out my review on LA Mag, I reference what happened when I left the theater. I'm not going to name names, but I ran into an older colleague and their female colleague, and an older male colleague and their female colleague. And, I was like, what do you guys think? And they said too much gay kissing. Too much kissing, too much gay stuff for us.
This is in Hollywood. You're seeing this kind of homophobia from supposedly progressive reviewers.
I don't know if I call it homophobia because it's not like they're like discriminating.
There's nothing wrong with gay kissing and straight kissing. It is equal. It has always been equal. It will always be equal. That's all I'm saying.
What I'm saying is, what homophobia is? Is it a fear of something, or is it a discrimination towards?
It's a disgust. It's an overall disgust of the homosexual lifestyle. Then which
I don't think they were disgusted by it, but I think they just thought that there was too much of it. But to me, it was like, if this was two straight people, you wouldn't have said that. Like,
no, wouldn't have said a word about it.
Right. So it was, to me, it was a generational divide sort of thing. Because I don't, but like, I don't think that there's too much gay stuff in it. I thought there almost should have been more gay stuff.
Yeah.
And they cut a bunch of gay stuff. Like, there was a story, I think, about them spending $30,000 on some kind of butt rig to do a rimming scene. I know we're getting really crass now on this podcast, but hey, like this is human sexuality.
Yes.
And so they spent $30,000 on this device or whatever, but then I don't know if they filmed it and cut it or didn't film it because of the White Lotus, because of the scene in the White Lotus. They felt like they got beat to it.
Well, it's funny you can do it in a straight show, but you can't do it in a gay movie. Why wouldn't you be able to do butt rimming and no matter whose it is?
Straight show, that was a gay scene.
Oh, right. Okay, fair enough. So why not do it here? So it just doesn't make any sense.
I'm offered. Where is the straight analingus on camera?
9.5 weeks. That's where it's at.
Yes, Bros. I knew that it wasn't going to be some big thing, even though I do think it's going to find its audience on streaming.
I hope so, because this was a damn good movie. I loved the hell out of it. I laughed in ways I haven't laughed in a romantic comedy in a very long time.
In years.
Yeah, in years, right? Exactly. If you're going to give me that, I bet you that Julia Roberts, George Clooney movie does way more money than Bros. The most recent J-Lo, whatever ridiculous rom-com she's going to release is going to make more money than Bros. And that's the shame of it, because this is actually a really intelligent film. I thought it was really well written. They were trying to educate the audience and entertain the audience at the same time about the LGBTQ community. But I know that clearly the homosexual community didn't show up. The LGBTQ plus community did not show up either in the numbers that they were hoping that they would show up as well. And it's the same frustration I felt with West Side Story, with In the Heights, that Latinos did not show up in droves to support this shit. And it's so frustrating because go ahead.
No, go on.
I just want to say it's frustrating to me because, and I was texting my friend about this after I saw the Bros box office over the weekend, and I said, studios look at this and they go, well, why the fuck should we be progressive? Why the fuck should we be diverse? Why the fuck should we be doing these kinds of films that are specifically trying to cater to a certain audience? Because that audience is loud enough to get us to make us do this film. Then we do it and no one shows up. So in a way, by you not showing up, you are tacitly part of the situation that tells studios, hey, we're not going to show up for these kinds of films. We want you to we want to bitch on Twitter all night and all day and on social media that you should make these films, but we're not going to fucking show up for it. So then studios go, look, this is all I care about is the green. And if the green isn't coming in, why the fuck should I make these movies? So to me, this is what frustrates me about it all, because it's show business, not show friends, and it always has been.
I mean, yeah, that's true, and that's what I've basically tried to explain on this podcast and other podcasts like it for years.
Yeah.
But I think in this case, Universal had to know that it was almost doing like a public good in a sense. I don't know that they were expecting, some huge box office haul here. I think that there are a bunch of factors. It's more than just homophobia.
Yes.
I think it's two cis white men.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't like a trans person or person of color. Maybe it would have gotten those communities a little bit more invested in it. So it's a certain like Chelsea boy type, as they say.
Yeah.
Billy Eichner, I think he's hilarious, and I think he's brilliant in this movie, both as an actor and as a writer. But I can see how he might be a little off-putting to some people.
Yeah, the abrasive nature of his comedy, for sure. If you just know Billy on the street, that's not actually who he is. That's a character.
Right.
But not many people know his work, right? I mean, normal people difficult people only did so much. The College Friends show only did so much. So
he's a niche star.
Yeah, in the comedy world.
People are talking about, well, he's not a real star. Well, it's like, okay, but I understand that, but you got to start somewhere. Like, who is the big major out gay star who should have been in this movie? You know what I mean? Yeah. Is this movie more successful if it's James Franco? Probably. I mean, look at the James Franco now, but like the James Franco from 5 years ago when everybody was seeing those movies and stuff. Yeah. Would this movie have been better? Not better, but more successful? Probably, but it wouldn't have been as authentic. And that's what I really did appreciate about it. And I do think the thing is, like, when a movie opens under a certain figure, when a Universal picture opens underneath a certain figure, it trigger the collapsed window. So isn't this now coming to streaming in 17 days, which is now, really 11 days?
It's a good point. I think so. It might be coming on Peacock, I would imagine, right? Because of NBC Universal.
I think so too. There hasn't been any sort of announcement like that because they don't like to say, they basically don't want to tell you when something is coming to streaming really while it's still in theaters so that people will still go. But I think if they would have every right under their agreements to put it on Peacock in 10 days.
Well, Jeff, you and I know having slightly abrasive personalities can be a little bit negative towards you down the road in certain moments, certain situations. Maybe with Billy Eichner's.
Won't take the time to get to know you, Jim.
Exactly, when they know it exactly. And Billy Eichner is one of those guys with his comedy, with his approach to things. And I think he did himself no favors coming after the straight community for not showing up. I understand the frustration. I certainly tweeted after West Side Story that I was mad at all these progressives and liberals who claim to want diversity for not showing up to support the movie. Just buy a ticket. You don't even have to go see the movie. Just buy a ticket to support the fact that Hollywood is doing something. And so I get it. I get the frustration. It's just that, where Eichner is at, I think that was the wrong move. And that probably turned off more people that might give it a chance down the road or something.
Yeah, exactly. People don't want to be scolded into seeing a movie. Doesn't matter whether they're gay or straight, really.
Yeah.
That is certainly an issue. And listen, the other issue is part of the marketing, is part of the sell for this. So I thought the trailers were really funny. Other people said they were really hooked by the trailers.
Yeah.
But other people said, well, what they're really selling is this is an important movie that you should go see because it's groundbreaking, rather than this is a funny movie that'll make you laugh.
Yeah.
And that I always think has to come first. Same thing with West Side Story. The sell has to be, this is a good movie that is worthy of the source material or whatever, rather than this is a groundbreaking thing because we have a Puerto Rican cast.
Yeah. Well, look, the first one through the wall, Jeff, you and I both know this in history. The first one through the wall sometimes has to suffer the most scars.
Right.
So that the next ones through the wall, the hole is much bigger for them to get through. So hopefully this isn't Hollywood turning it off and not having these gay-centric feature films from their main studios coming out. And this is more a lesson of like, okay, how do we market it better? How do we get better gay star or more known gay stars to be in these lead roles so that we can make money off of these movies? So maybe down the road we shall see.
I think it's again, like someone like Luke McFarlane.
Yeah.
I think I said before, like, why isn't this guy the new Green Lantern? Like, I think he's better than Finn Wittrock. right? Who's in Green Lantern with
Yes.
Jeremy, the kid from Warhorse.
Yeah,
right?
the series. Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, like Luke, if Luke McFarlane could snag a role like that and then sort of let his star blow up, right?
Yeah,
and then go back and do a romantic comedy, then I think it does better. And I don't know that Billy, it's not like Billy had that role that was in a big, widely seen thing. Like, what was the thing? A cameo in Neighbors 2 or something?
Yeah. Parks and Rec. Yeah. So,
yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. We got real quick. This one from what is it? Chris Corcoran says, when gay relationships are put in big budget movies, straight people lose their minds. Look at Lightyear. Right. Exactly. The kiss in Lightyear calls the right wing pundits and the right wing geeks and nerds, which I recently came into combat with a poorly worded tweet a couple of weeks ago. I had no idea that section of the fandom had existed and was so adamant. This is where you get this reaction to people going, why are you trying to indoctrinate my children into liking gay people? Why are you showing a gay kiss in an animated film when Pixar and Disney? And it's this ridiculousness that we have to constantly battle. And studios have to be afraid of, because studios have to walk that line, Jeff, don't they? I mean, look, Republicans, Democrats, every political party buys tickets. So you got to be like, how do we play to everyone so that people come to see our movies? And it's and Disney is certainly one of the most difficult ones, because Disney is one of the most embraced studios by the gay community. There's like gay days.
Yes, if they can keep some of these big cameo appearances, like the Marvel end credit scenes, if they can keep that shit secret. Not saying that they should keep it secret, but why can't they keep the gay kiss in Lightyear or whatever secret, so that when people just see it, like, it's just part of the story rather than part of the sell? You know what I mean?
It was secret. They didn't make a big deal about the fact that she was gay till the film came out. When the film came out,
and the press makes a big deal out of it. And then
those nerds went to see it. Those nerds did videos about it.
People who were going to see Lightyear and then they heard there's a gay kiss, and now they're like, now I can't take my kids. Like, is the media doing the movie a disservice by like shining a light on that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is what I tell you. You don't want to believe me, but that right wing machine is massive, and it does not. It convinces parents not to. I mean, we had that drama this week. I'll get to the Velma thing, but we had that drama this week with the woman talking about Hocus Pocus too, saying that she doesn't want her kids to be indoctrinated to think witches are okay because they're satanic. And it's this kind of ridiculous brain dead nonsense that we've got to constantly deal with something even as innocent as Hocus Pocus 2.
Now that we're of the age, we can see how many of our peers have children. And how many of them probably shouldn't have children, where you're almost like, really? Like, you're going to be a parent? And these are the people making some of these decisions. I'm not talking about just our peers.
Right.
You see who's having children out there, and I'm not surprised some of the decisions that are being made.
Yeah, that's fair. Ronaldo McWhiskey says, just sending support, probably won't stay. Internet is struggling today. We'll probably catch the replay. Love the show. Even love the chat. Yeah, our chat is very lively every episode. We appreciate it madly. 145 you already watching us right now. Please hit that like button as we go along. I'm going to hit some more of these Streamlabs real quick. I know, Jeff, we just got a lot of people who want to hear from us. Nancy Mallory saying, after getting snubbed by India for the international film category, does Triple R have a good chance of being nominated for the Oscars? If it does, please perform the Natu Natu dance to celebrate. It would be great to see Rocha in an FYC episode. When hell freezes over. Jeff, talk to me. Yeah, somebody doesn't want me on that show. Jeff, tell me about, what do you think that do you think our Triple R will find a way to have almost like a write-in candidacy and get itself nominated for Best Picture maybe down the road?
No. The latest, film Twitter cause, I don't think really has any foothold with the Academy. I mean, it's a long movie, isn't it?
It's 3 hours.
Yeah, I don't see Academy members sitting down to watch that movie. I can't imagine that's on the top of the pile. So
yeah, no, I can't imagine that either, unfortunately. And sometimes it just has to be a sensation that crosses over, and so many people talking about. But I think it does speak volumes about the fact how international cinema, more than ever, has really become a part of the national conversation when it comes to films.
Certainly, about that.
Right. So Parasite, and then you've got this Triple R film. There have been other films that people have, the Pachinko series on Apple TV Plus. Korean K-dramas are becoming something you see standard on Netflix. being promoted on a number of streaming platforms. So much, we're becoming much more of a global entertainment brand in every possible way. So Triple R is just another example of that and how it's kind of swept. People got swept up in its love.
Yes.
Owen Lanning says, "What's that?"
I mean, it's people in our bubble. It's not my brothers aren't like, dude, did you hear about Triple R? My high school buddies aren't like, dude, I saw Triple R last night. That's not happening. It hasn't penetrated. Those waves are still going out.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Fair point. Owen Lanning says, "Thanks for the great show, guys. Showed my parents The Big Short, and man, I love that film. Makes something that could be boring so entertaining. Also, Gosling is the dude. Makes everything that much better. He is in." Jeff, what do you think about this? Has it been a while since you've seen The Big Short? And what do you think about Ryan Gosling in that movie?
I like Gosling. I always like Gosling. I thought The Big Short was good, not great. Didn't really see why it was such a major Oscar contender. I was thinking about it today, though, actually, because Shailene Woodley joined this movie Dumb Money, which is about the GameStop thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I feel like that could be the new Big Short. That's what I was kind of thinking today. And that's with like Seth Rogen, Paul Dano, Sebastian Stan, and Pete Davidson. So it's like, maybe younger, more bro-y type. So less prestige than Gosling and Christian Bale. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. That could be an interesting one.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and there's a documentary out right now about that scandal, that situation with the stock market that I really want to watch. So no surprise to get more and more people involved in it. Because having Margot Robbie deliver that thing in the bathtub is one of the best monologues we've seen in the last 25 years on film for sure. Let's see here.
Wait, you think so?
Oh yeah. I think her that monologue was great. Are you kidding? Oh my God.
I need a monologue with emotion that like comes from character. She's just giving me like a fucking like numbers lesson.
Is she? Give me more than a numbers lesson. I'll tell you that right now. Let me see here. Keldrick Pickens says, "I completely agree with Jeff. Super Mario Brothers will be massive next April. I fully expect a trilogy, Mario Kart spin-off films, Zelda, and more Nintendo IPs to get big and small screen adaptations." Keldrick, slow down.
You're right, Keldrick.
Need I present to you the Power Rangers 6-movie series we were supposed to get?
Oh, come on.
Never happened.
So not the same thing. Like that is such a B, C, D franchise. Fucking Power Rangers. Give me a break with that shit. Mario is awesome, and he's absolutely right. This is going to lead to an avalanche. This is going to open the floodgates for Nintendo shit.
Okay. All right, fair enough. There's a French version of this trailer. Rocha, did you watch the French version of Mario? It's better dubbed. Okay, fine. Lou Heap Fan says, "Is the focus of this movie only to focus on gays?" I think he's talking about bros. "Where's the broad appeal? I heard that the movie shows only white gays, not much colors, and is very preachy. Hollywood already support gay stories with shows, right? What's groundbreaking?" Do you want to handle this, or do you want me to handle this?
Well, I definitely don't think it's just white people, just because there's leads. Like the supporting cast has a lot of diversity. So yeah, that's not exactly accurate. I mean, what were you going to say?
Just say that. Yeah. Listen, the film itself, I don't know who you heard this from, but that's absolutely incorrect. There are plenty of people of color that are LGBTQ and trans people in the film and have significant roles in the film, all over the film. There are gay people playing straight people, as Billy Eichner's way of saying, you've had straight people play gay people before. We're going to turn that around. There's plenty of women involved in this as well. There are people who are transitioning involved in this as well. And the educational aspect of it's not preachy. It's trying to make you aware of these things. And you're talking about broad appeal. What is the broad appeal that you need? This is a love story between two people who don't want to necessarily be in a love story, but can't resist them. They can't resist.
Yeah, it's a classic story.
So that's pretty broad. It's a love story. That's your broad appeal. Why does the orientation matter? And what's wrong with being there to get educated a little bit about the community of LGBTQ plus?
The structure and the beats of the movie are very familiar, and I think it makes it more digestible or more palatable to straight people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe we're just more tolerant than the average person, even though I'm sure Twitter would disagree with that assessment.
Well, that's why you have to take time to get to know us, because we are two of the most tolerant people
around. NYU, okay? I've lived with 5 gay men.
I
5.
host a show with a gay man. Adam Jimenez says, got here late, don't know what the combo is about, but Jeff, let us know what insides you have about Dr. Doom being in the new Black Panther. And man, if Angry Birds was profitable, then sure as hell, Mario, the grand papi of video game characters, will be huge.
Dr. Doom in what? In Black Panther?
In Wakanda Forever. There's a lot of rumors about Dr. Doom showing up in Wakanda Forever. Have you heard anything, Jeff Sneider?
I have not heard anything about Dr. Doom in Wakanda Forever, but it wouldn't shock me. I mean, I told you guys, he's going to be the new big, I think. And that makes sense that you would introduce him in that movie, because otherwise you're kind of waiting until what? Those other Avengers movies that are coming?
Yeah, probably. Do you think I'm crazy? I think Wakanda Forever has a chance to be nominated for Best Picture and win.
Yes. Yes, I do. I think you're absolutely insane, especially after I watched the trailer today. John made me watch the trailer, guys. Yeah. I didn't really want to watch it. I kind of wanted to preserve what few surprises there would be. But Marvel, sure enough, showed most everything.
No.
They showed
There's so much. There's so much. I'm telling you right now.
But
it'll get nominated for Best Picture, Jeff. And I think right now it might have a shot to win.
No, I don't think it has a shot to win. I think that a nomination is going to be facing an uphill battle.
Okay.
Just because there's a lot of other big movies. So, like, it's going to be up against, and there's only so many big movie slots. I mean, in theory, there's enough slots for all of them, and I don't think that this year's prestige pictures are all that great. But, like, it's going to be Top Gun and this movie and Avatar. I mean, Avatar looms large. Like, am I going to bet on this movie over Avatar, which almost won Best Picture when it came out in a 5-picture race? No.
Okay.
Especially without Chadwick. Like, and again, it's just hard to ignore some of the production rumors that we've heard. This was a troubled production. This was a troubled shoot.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean it's going to be a bad movie. That is not a 1-to-1 equation, but it's just hard to ignore those whispers.
Sure, certainly. Mike Joyce says, are the reports of Superman in Black Adam true? Supposedly there was a screening in Mexico.
Yeah, it's time to just, rip off this Band-Aid. Yes. Yes. Henry Cavill is in Black Adam.
Are you bullshitting right now? Or are you really telling
me? This is 100%. Wow. I don't care if I was even thinking of writing an article about Above the Line for it, not because it was particularly like newsworthy, because I'm not a big fan of like this kind of stuff this close to release.
Yeah.
But on this one, I had explicit conversations with people on Henry's team at Warner Brothers, like a year ago, maybe even more than a year ago, when I was at Collider.
Okay.
So that's before August 2021.
Okay.
I would say going back to last summer that I'd heard this, and they completely denied it. Okay. And whether it was true, like it just wasn't true at the time, and maybe it became true last month. Maybe they shot a quick thing. Whatever it was, it's a lie now. Like he's in the movie. He's in the movie. And
you're saying face and body in the movie, not just the chest like Shazam. You're saying face in the movie.
Has a line, at least.
Wow.
At least has a speaking part.
Okay.
And the rumor, and so the rumor, and I want to, I don't know the name of the podcast shit, but all right. The rumor is that Dwayne insisted.
Yes.
Right. That Dwayne put his foot down and was like, the fans want Henry Cavill back. I'm going to be the guy who,
Certainly, he tweeted that, Jeff. He did.
The guy who makes the fans happy, and he gets his way because he's The Rock.
Okay.
And they have the same manager, right?
Yes.
Henry is managed by Danny Garcia.
Yes.
Dwayne's ex-wife. So there was always that connection, including last summer. And then I heard that the deal might include another Henry Cavill Superman movie. Now, I don't have that. That was on the podcast I was listening to,
okay.
Which I brushed up on. I'm not a regular listener, but I listened to that segment today.
Okay. And
it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me if they did go back to Cavill.
Okay.
It's like I don't know. It sounds like are all these people in The Flash too? Like, are we going to get Gal Gadot and Affleck? And I mean,
In the Flash movie, I feel like we're going to get everybody.
There was I think that we're going to get everybody too. There was speculation because all the actors were seen in LA in the same week or whatever. But it's like, hey, all the actors live in LA, you know, for the most part. Anyways,
okay,
it's true. Superman's going to be in fucking Black Adam. Yes.
Wow! Somebody clip that out. We're going to make that a little thing. That's for sure. That's incredible. So, you know, which podcast was it on? Do you remember which podcast you were listening to about the Superman Black? Can you say? Or no.
No.
Okay. Fair enough.
I don't remember. I don't know the name of it.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on. Please keep sending in your Streamlabs and Super Chats. Everybody, with 35 minutes in the show, got 160 you all watching us right now. Please make sure you send in your support. Jeff just dropped a big piece of news. Show some support, for God's sakes. Open up your pocketbooks.
I don't feel like I'm dropping that news. I feel like that news has already been dropped and confirmed by leakers and people who have seen the movie.
But you're confirming it as a
I'm confirming
member of the Hollywood press. There's a difference.
I mean, I haven't seen the movie, so it's tough to confirm. It's something that I had heard about last summer.
Yeah.
That was denied. And now there are reports that it's true, and that's why I feel emboldened to share it.
Okay.
But you know what? It's like, it's so easy. It's so easy to get me to shut my mouth. Like, if I had seen the movie at this point, then I wouldn't be able to say anything, would I? Like, you know, it's like, you don't want to show me the movie? Okay, well, then I guess I can fucking talk about it.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah, as Bruce said, please hit that like button right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we're moving on to another controversial topic here. Send in your Streamlabs and Super Chat. See the address on the screen. You see it pinned in the chat. Jeff Sneider, we just talked about award shows. We just talked about possible nominations. Let's move on to this controversy.
Oh, thank God.
Apple TV, Emancipation, Will Smith. This is coming out now in December. They just recently screened it, I think, for the Congressional Black Caucus, or a function there with the Congressional Black Caucus. Antoine Fuqua, the director, and Will Smith were in attendance. This is based on a true story and telling this tale of a slave who sought freedom by joining the Union soldiers during the Civil War. Will Smith playing the lead role. And I think, from what I read in Yahoo is correct, that shot of that person we've seen in the Civil War documentary with Ken Burns with all the scars on his back, that's who Will Smith is playing, that legendary picture. Will Smith said, I wasn't going to play a slave. I didn't want to play a slave, but this script was the one that finally got me to look at that, because it's about more than slavery. I would argue every slavery film is about more than slavery, but Will felt a personal connection to this. I saw the trailer. It's essentially in somewhat black and white. It's a very moving trailer. But of course, the controversy is 9 months after the slap, here we have a Will Smith film coming out, possibly in consideration for Best Picture and Best Actor for Will Smith. So what do you think about the controversy? What do you think about Apple making this decision?
I think it is like, yes, like you have to do it. You have to do it because there's so many reasons. I was about to drop some sort of weird analogy with Draymond Green, who punched his teammate, I guess. Are we going to stop watching Draymond Green things because he assaulted somebody? We're going to stop watching Warriors games? Like, give me a break.
Yeah.
This guy slapped someone in the face last year. Yeah, it was, the weirdest place you could slap someone in the face at.
Yeah.
In front of a television audience of millions and on stage in front of all of your peers. But when it boils down to it, he slapped a guy in the face.
Yeah.
Didn't kill somebody, didn't sexually assault somebody. There's a lot worse things that you can do. So I think that we need to be a little bit more forgiving. I couldn't believe some of the pearl clutching from some of our colleagues this week who are just like stunned that Apple would do this. Like, you have 3 movies, right? You have Scorsese's movie, Ridley Scott's movie, and this movie. Are you going to release them all next year?
Right. So they're competing against each other? That makes no sense.
That doesn't make any sense. One of them has to come out this year. This is the movie that's done. Okay, if Will Smith doesn't get nominated, then Will Smith, you cost yourself a nomination. And that's part of the punishment. Because you would have been a shoo-in to be nominated, and now no one wants to vote for you, right?
Possibly a back-to-back Black Best Actor, which has never happened. Yeah. It could have been,
But it's like, what do we want Apple to do for the next year? Every single outlet on the planet, right, that writes about Apple is it would include a sentence saying, and we still don't know what Apple's going to do with the Will Smith movie, Emancipation. Like, why would they want to put themselves through another year of that kind of coverage?
Yeah.
If this movie is good, and he is good in it, then people will consider it for awards. And if they do not, then that is their choice, and they are small-minded individuals, I think. It is not best person. It is not best human. It is best actor. Okay? And if he gives a fucking top 5 performance this year, and I was a member of the Academy, I would absolutely have no problem voting for him. Doesn't mean he's allowed to show up at the ceremony.
Right.
Doesn't matter, he could win and not be there to accept it. And that's part of the punishment.
Right.
But we don't start penalizing and not considering people for awards in art because he slapped a guy in the face who made fun of his wife. It's not like it was out of the fucking blue.
Yeah, right. He didn't just walk up and just absolutely cold cock him for no reason at all. The man had made fun of his wife. Now, you obviously it wasn't the right move, wasn't the right place. You don't condone violence.
No one's condoning it. Bad idea.
Right. Very bad idea. But, Apple has a responsibility to the film. Certainly who they screened.
More than one person.
Right. Fair enough. And who they screened it for, very positive. The people who were in attendance at that ceremony. So putting it out here, it's a good thing. You're showing yet another strong black actor here performing in a role that possibly will give him even more credibility as an actor, but also the community, yet another proud performance from an actor from our community to see what he can do. I think that's great, right? And I agree with Jeff. Let's move past it already. It was fucking 9 months ago. He has apologized 3,500 times. He's accepted all the punishments. He's fought no one on the punishments. He's done all the things. So some of these critics who were, as you said, pearl clutching would crawl over bodies like Black Friday to get to be first in line to go see the Flash movie with Ezra Miller, who has thrown chairs at women, choked women out, and done all kinds of really uncomfortable shit. But they're the same people who were causing such an uproar over Will Smith's movie getting released. And I found that to be, and when I saw there was, so a few of them were white, it really pissed me off. So it's just this kind of situation here. You've got to be aware of this whole thing. It's done. He apologized. Let's move on. It was a slap. He didn't beat him into a bloody pulp. He didn't kick him and beat him down and use a piece of wood or a stone or a chain. He slapped him for insulting his wife. He lost his cool. How many people who were sending those pearl clutching tweets haven't lost their cool in a moment?
Those people have been the butt of a joke in front of millions of people.
Yes.
The woman that they love being the butt of a joke. It's just, again, it was not the appropriate response in the moment. And sure, it was shocking. And yes, it embarrassed the Academy. But to me, the greatest victims in the whole thing were the winners who had their moments stolen from them.
Yeah.
Okay, whose wins were over in the night. It wasn't Chris Rock who got a stinging cheek. I mean, he got embarrassed, but he also came out of it looking great, right?
He's making money on his tour right now off of this for sure.
Forget the Draymond Green thing. Let's just go there.
You brought it up.
This guy, Brad Pitt.
Oh, yeah.
This guy has a movie coming out in December as well now, Babylon. And it's like, is there going to be any sort of thing there? Or and I'm not going to make it a racial thing, but I'm sure that there are people who will, where it's like, we're going to hold Will Smith his feet to the fire for slapping a man. And here's fucking Brad Pitt supposedly choking and slamming a woman in a private plane. But hey, we didn't see it.
And not a woman, his wife, Angelina Jolie. Yeah.
Right. So it's like, are we not going to believe her now? Like,
That's what I'm saying. What I discover, what really frustrates me with some of our colleagues is how can I say this? The pick and choose what to be offended by, depending on the situations and their personal connections, and also what the tide of the social media wave is, and also whether they are connected to a studio or an actor or director or whatever. So the selective pearl clutching, I think, is a phenomenal thing to witness, for God's sake.
I think that most of our colleagues are horribly dishonest. So
horribly dishonest.
Wow. Yes.
I won't go that far. I just feel like there's selective pearl clutching for sure.
Selectively dishonest, then. I don't think that you can have the same view on all of these things, though, John. I think you do have to judge them individually.
Well, of course, in context,
circumstances. But I think that you're right, that there are people who are like, oh, well, I have, who have these relationships, and we all have, relationships and things like that. But, you have to be willing to sacrifice that stuff to be honest. The only relationship that matters is the relationship between me and whoever's watching this fucking video or reading my article. That's the only relationship that matters.
Yeah. I agree 1,000%. We got 170 you watching right now. Please hit that like button as we're talking about all the stuff we're talking about here. We're running out of time. We got like 15 minutes left. Reynaldo McWhiskey says, I have the answer. He won't be nominated and everyone will be talking about it and flock to Apple or whoever the distributor it is. Yeah, and this may be a bit of a shrewd decision by Apple. As you said, Jeff, you don't want all three of your premiere films competing against each other. You put this one out, you see how people react to it, and you recoup the money if people support it or come out to support it in larger numbers as a protest to the pearl clutching that is going on about this release of this movie. So either way, I think Apple wins because Apple, you can't damage Apple. You can't dent Apple at all. They're a machine.
What do they give a shit about what, like reading the room? Like what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. Apple doesn't give two shits because you're still going to, let me tell you something. They'll read the room when millions of people give back their iPhones in protest.
Exactly. They
give
own
back their MacBook Pros in protest. Yeah. Until then, they ain't reading no fucking room, y'all. And you are a part of it. Lou Wheat Fan says, if Cavill doesn't appear in Black Adam, I'm going to ask for my money back. Jeff?
I mean, from the people I spoke to, who spoke to the people who saw the movie already, it sounds like he's definitely in the fucking movie. What I can't vouch for is like whether Warner Brothers is actually developing a new Cavill movie. I don't know about that, but for some reason it seems less surprising now than it would have a couple months ago.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, let's move on to another thing that we were going to talk about here. Do you have your Hellraiser review? Any thoughts on the Hellraiser review?
Never a Hellraiser guy, and this didn't change it at all for me. This movie, I put it out there on Twitter. Every other movie basically had been under 99 minutes.
Yeah, this one is 2 hours.
2 full fucking hours. It's just like, I mean, I think that David Bruckner is talented. I could actually see David Bruckner being a successful Marvel director. It was super interesting, actually. I was watching the movie and I'm like, this dude could direct like Doctor Strange 3.
Okay.
David Bruckner.
Yeah.
And you know who directed Hellraiser 4 or 5 maybe?
I can't think of it right now. No, who was it?
Scott Derrickson.
Oh, nice.
I had no idea. I thought Exorcism of Emily Rose was Scott Derrickson's directorial debut, but it was not. And he did a Hellraiser movie that was like direct to video straight early in his career. So I just thought it was kind of like funny that I thought, anyways, female Pinhead, she was good, Jamie Clayton. And I definitely like some of the designs of the Cenobites, and there are a couple, cool kills. Like it was fine, but it would have been a lot more fine at 99 minutes or less.
Yeah.
I think it, for a movie on Hulu, like it delivers probably for horror fans, but it just wasn't, it's never been my cup of tea.
Real quick, Black Adam is projecting at 60 to 70 million. Do you anticipate for opening, which is not, it was good.
Yeah. Do you struggle to hit 50?
Yeah. Do you think that they because this is about to open in about 13 days or something like that? It's just around the corner. Do you think that they will release the Cavill thing, like a snippet of it, and that will increase the box office? Do you think they'll do that to increase the box office, or do you think they'll wait for word of mouth?
No. I do not think that they will release the Cavill thing, mainly because the Cavill thing wouldn't move the fucking box office one bit, John. That's what
you are so wrong about that. I can't even.
You are wrong, dude. I'm telling you, look at the grosses. Look at the grosses of Henry Cavill Superman movies. The general public at large, not embrace Henry Cavill as Superman.
Okay, all right. I don't disagree. I don't agree with you, but all right, that's fair.
But like, it's not a matter of agreeing; it's a fact. Look at the fucking numbers.
Okay. Okay, never mind. All right, let's move on.
It's a fact.
Okay. James Bond casting rumors. We just had James Bond Day a few days ago. Jeff, is there any name that has popped up that you hadn't considered, or is there any name that's starting to feel, or any names that are starting to feel as real possibilities for you as you hear this stuff, as more and more people write articles about this and explore this? And certainly we had Wilson and Broccoli giving their points of views that they want to go for a person in their 30s. They want someone who's lived in, not old, but not young. So, Richard Madden's in play still. The gentleman from Bridgerton, Regé-Jean Page. I hope I said that right, Regé-Jean Page. And a couple other people are still somewhat in play. Cavill being one as well, which I don't see happening, to be honest. What do you think here? Is there any name that you've seen or heard that you hadn't considered before that might be
Definitely not going to be some big name. So like,
okay.
Variety had this 34-person list. I don't even
Yeah.
understand what the point of doing a 34-person list is. That's just a list of
It's to cover your bases. That's what the point
like
is.
there's no curation at all. Like it's just a list of people in the business. Okay. So like, yeah, Idris Elba, too old.
Too old.
Henry Cavill, too old.
Yeah, okay.
Steve Riz Ahmed, like we talked about last week or whatever, is the same age as him, but yet oddly not too old.
Yeah, fair.
Maybe he just looks younger. I don't think though that it would be someone like a Riz Ahmed or a Dev Patel. I think that they are too well known.
Okay.
I mean, Kroll seems to think that there's like, already like a list of names. That seems premature to me. I think you gotta have like some idea of what kind of Bond you're playing. Like to me, you're trying to fill a role that's on the page, not just like the name of a character, right?
Yeah, right.
So get a script in place and be like, this is the movie and the story we want to tell and the movie we want to make, and let's find the fucking guy that's right for this, rather than let's just build a story around some 30-something actor who's probably not that well known. I think he probably has to be a foreigner. He probably can't be American.
No.
I do think that they're open to someone of color. I don't necessarily think it's someone who's black.
Yeah, could be Dev Patel. Certainly possible.
I definitely think that is in play. Even a Henry Golding potentially. Yeah, but like I think it'll probably be some like weird Brit from like some show that like two people watch. Although you might be one of those two people, because I know you and Mrs. L like to watch a lot of weird European shows.
Not weird, motherfucker. And speaking of which, this is the guy I'm looking at, James Norton.
No,
you said it's someone that not too many people know. He's about to come back in the 4th season of Happy Valley, which is a great British show. He was in the Afters. Is that correct? The one with the Joss Whedon before that all fell apart. He was just in Rogue Agent, that film based on a true story, what happened with the guy. He was in Grantchester, which is all over PBS, and the old ladies and people like it, Grantchester as well. He was fantastic in McMafia. And I interviewed him about it. And I mean, I'm trying to toot my own horn there. I'm just saying that I've interviewed the man, and he spoke about it. I'm not going to play the clip, but he spoke about it, spoke to me about it, and said that he was, very excited to.
I had the segment queued up, guys. Yeah, let's get ready to go.
Anyway, I can't play, but he mentioned that it would be a great role, but he also is a bit of a nomad. So for him, he's like, I don't know if I want to stay on for 5 to 10 years. That's another part of this, Steve. Sorry, Jeff, because you're attaching yourself to a role for anywhere from 10 to 15 years. And we saw what it did to Daniel Craig's psyche. So what actor is going to, I mean, him saying he would rather crawl on broken glass than shoot the last Bond film with Spectre, the tough time he had with Spectre, but then he had a better time with No Time to Die. So that's got to be factored into this thing as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's different. I also think that this kind of Bond will probably be different, if only to distinguish it from the Craig series, right? I don't think that Pierce Brosnan was put through the sort of physical stuff that Daniel Craig was, right? So maybe he didn't feel that way at the end of his run.
Right.
But another absurd inclusion on Variety's part. I mean, I get like, yeah, maybe it'd be cute to like bring Pierce Brosnan back in some capacity, but like he's not going to be like the next James Bond.
Right.
He was on the list, by the way. So
you can't bring him back. Come on, don't be ridiculous.
So it's like, I'm just saying, like, it could be a very different than like the almost Bourne-esque Bond that was, right? Like it could just be very different. So
yeah, I think we're heading towards someone a bit more that radiates a bit more class, a bit more of the Pierce Brosnan.
Harris Dickinson was mentioned in the chat. I think Harris Dickinson is a really good call from Triangle of Sadness. Okay. I don't think that James Norton is the guy.
All right. When they announce it, you'll owe me $100. James Norton.
Someone mentions Kingsley Ben-Adir. Not a terrible call there.
I don't mind that call. That's a good call as well.
But
all right. Yeah. Go ahead.
No.
Is there anything else? I mean, we've got 10 minutes left in the show here, pal. Do you want to talk about the Velma thing at all? Do you want to talk about Coppola getting Hoffman for his film? New Jennifer
as far as that goes, it's just like it's not even that notable anymore, really. When Hoffman does a movie, it's notable in the sense he was kind of semi-canceled a few years ago or whatever.
Right.
And now Francis Ford Coppola has him and Shia in one movie, so that could be quite the set. But
wait till Franco comes on.
To me, Dustin Hoffman, and tell me if I'm wrong here.
Okay.
Is one of the top 10 greatest actors of all time. What do you think?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think you'd have to kind of sit down and go through all this stuff, but I think you can make a very strong case. I mean, I think the majority, well, not a majority, I won't say majority. Well, maybe. I would say the majority of great actors really came to prominence in the 70s. That when we talk about the majority of the top 10 actors, right? Majority of the top 10 actors. Because you're looking at De Niro, Pacino, Hoffman, Duvall,
and Nicholson.
Those are all 1970s stalwarts, and you could even throw in Martin Sheen if you wanted to, although I don't think he didn't transfer theatrically in the same way, but like there are quite a few that roll through the 1970s. Michael Douglas, you could argue.
It's good to see Hoffman back out there, but it needed to take someone with just like brass balls, like Francis Coppola, to probably do it.
Mm-hmm.
So. What was the other? What is the Velma stuff? It involves.
Them coming out officially saying that Velma is a lesbian, which I'm like,
oh thank God.
Yeah, I'm like Aegon Targaryen over here, going like, Dad, everybody knows, we all know that she's a.
Who cares?
We've known, yeah.
I mean, I don't even do the characters on Scooby-Doo. Do I need them to have romantic interests and like relationships? Like, solve some fucking mysteries, dude. Find some ghosts. Like, that's all I care about.
I don't disagree. Hackman's another one from the 1970s. Absolutely. With French Connection, you can make a case of Hackman's in the top 10.
No. I'm not going to put Gene Hackman on the list of the top 10 greatest actors ever.
How dare you? Gene Hackman will punch you in the lights out. I'll tell you right now.
Great. Top 10? Like Rain Man and fucking Kramer versus Kramer and The Graduate.
French Connection, Unforgiven. Give me a break. Come on, dude. What do you want to say to you? Come on. This is my Gene Hackman. Crimson Tide. These are great roles. All right, one last thing. Did you get a chance to see that Violent Night? David Harbour as Santa Claus kicking some ass, seasons beatings. Any thoughts on that?
I think that'll be a lot of fun. It's kind of the perfect holiday season antidote to all the serious movies.
Yeah.
I think it'll do well. Probably better than, Nobody did.
Which is a shame because that was good.
Yeah, I mean, I like Nobody. It was okay, but I think this will probably perform a little bit better. Santa Claus is a good hook.
Okay, all right.
But I didn't anticipate the magical stuff, John.
Yeah, that shocked me too. I did my trailer reaction when he sticks the knife inside the bag and pulls out a present. I was like, "Oh, what are we doing here? This motherfucker's a superhero. I love it. Let's make it happen." So, all right, let's get on out of here, Jeff. We got 3 minutes. We should roll out of here unless you have something you want to drop. We talked about some pretty big stories. So, do you want to talk about anything before we leave?
Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see. I'm sure that there's some other stuff here, John.
All right, make them quick hits.
Well, you saw the thing about Knives Out 2 today?
That it's getting a 1 week release? Yes.
But of course, we always knew it was going to get a 1 week release, right? Because if it's going to be up for Oscars, it needs to have a 1 week qualifying run in theaters. But normally what happens is when that week is up, then the movie goes on Netflix, right? And now there's a blackout period and it won't be on Netflix for another month, which is, so people, you won't just be able to wait a few days to see it on Netflix. You're going to have to wait a month. So it's going to drive people to theaters.
Smart. I think it's very smart. Did you see the Jennifer Lawrence trailer?
Yes, I actually thought that looked pretty good.
Yeah, I did too. I haven't always been the biggest fan of hers lately. Like Red Sparrow really didn't do anything for me, and Joy was kind of but this looks good. I like it.
Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's got a director, Emma Tammy. I know you haven't seen her movie, The Wind. I didn't really care for it.
No, I haven't.
Are you looking forward to Five Nights at Freddy's?
Kind of. I mean, we'll see what it ends up. It's like Violent Night. We'll see what it ends up turning out to be because it's one of those kind of smaller, could be fun type films that are not necessarily the Main Street type of appeal. So I like the idea, though.
Did we talk about last week Jonathan Majors playing Dennis Rodman?
Yeah, we talked about that last week. I was going to get in fantastic shape. So
Michael Waldron doing Secret Wars. We
didn't mention that. Michael Waldron writing Secret Wars, the same guy who wrote Multiverse of Madness and Loki. So right now he's got a strike and a success, in my opinion, because I hated Multiverse of Madness. And I loved Loki up until around the end. So my concern, I'm like a little concerned. I'm a little concerned, but
I would just like to see Kevin like step outside his fucking wheelhouse and hire like an actual writer rather than just like some comic book fan person.
He's just hiring all the Rick and Morty people.
Yeah, I think maybe he needs some new people in that stable.
You're not wrong on
that. Smile opened pretty big this weekend, right?
19 million, way more than Bros.
Did you see it? You're not.
I did not see it. It's not my cup of tea. You know that.
Bill Skarsgård starring in the Nosferatu remake.
That is going to be interesting because are they doing this are they doing the remake of the actual film, or are they readjusting certain things? Because Lily Collins, I think, is stepping in. Is that for
Lily Rose Depp?
Lily Rose Depp. Sorry.
To blow up off the Idol. Did you see the new trailer for that today?
I haven't seen that. No. The trailer? No, I haven't seen
it. That show is going to be so wild.
That's the weekend show, right? The weekend show
on HBO.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's stepping in for Anya Taylor-Joy. Bill Skarsgård is going to play, the monster in
right.
He's not replacing Harry Styles. Harry Styles is going to be the other guy. So they'll have to find a third person.
I'm the guy doing my job. You must be the other guy. Good.
Emma Stone reteaming with Yorgos Lanthimos for a movie called And.
Okay.
Her third movie with him after The Favorite and the upcoming Poor Things.
Yeah.
The Community movie. Were you a Community guy?
I'm a massive Community guy. I'm very excited. I wish they'd get the Russo brothers to come back and direct it, but that's probably impossible. But I want to see if Donald Glover comes back and Yvette Nicole Brown, who were both not part of the announcement.
Right.
Chevy's dead in that universe. So you could bring Chevy back as a hologram in some weird kind of alternate scene. But Yvette and Donald are, because I'm loving Atlanta this season. And I think Yvette, there was just some issues there. I don't know what the issues were. And she didn't come back for the final season, I think. So what role might she have if they get her back to play the Community movie?
I was just never a Community person. I didn't really get the show.
It's too nice for you. They care about each other. You don't like that. You're not a fan of people caring about each
other. Right. I think that is pretty much it this week. I just want to wrap up by saying, guys, visit abovetheline.com, please, by all means.
Yeah.
I'm still doing reviews for LA Mag. I think I'm going to review Halloween next for them.
Okay.
Writing for the Ankler, working on the next entry in our Slate series.
Nice.
And that's about it, man.
Okay, let's hit it real quick. Dalton Johnson says Heat 2 thoughts, Jeff, real quick. I think you already gave them, but real quick.
Yeah, I liked it. It was a fun read, but it wasn't a great book. No.
Okay, there you go. Two real quick ones. Lou Wheat fan says Will Smith has been banned from the Oscars gala and other Academy events for 10 years. If he wins, he won't be able to be there to accept. That's something. By the way, let's not rush to be on Jolie's side. Think about what happened to Depp. Well, first of all, no one's rushing on anyone's side. We're just bringing that up as accusations and how
he's all alleged. All alleged, of course.
All alleged.
Did you see Werewolf by Night, John?
I have not seen it. I'm saving that for tomorrow morning. I can't wait to see it tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning is the perfect time to watch it.
Yeah. As soon as I wake up, it's 52 minutes, closing the door in the office and sitting here with my headphones on and getting my ass scared.
Watch the show at night, John. It's a werewolf thing.
Listen, bro, in the office, it gets dark. Doug Developer says, hey, guys, greetings from New Zealand. What's up, Doug? You're in New Zealand? That's awesome. Personally, I think the next Bond must be British. I also think the producers will continue casting a new Bond who is somewhat famous, but not too famous, Brosnan being the slight exception. Yeah, I think very much where we were at on it as well, for sure.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think
Thanks so much, Doug. All right, any final words, Jeff? That was it. So, right? Follow him at the Insider. Follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, The Outlaw Nation on Twitch. Please subscribe to the channel down below. Get me to 25,000 subscribers. Hit that like button as well so you see we're dropping all the content we do. Like earlier today, I dropped my solo spoiler review for She-Hulk episode 8. We will do a Geek Buddies spoiler review, I think on Friday, so look for that. An Andor review. We're recording it tonight, but it'll go out tomorrow, so look for that as well. And
you're the busiest man in showbiz.
I really am. I'm trying to stay alive, brother, man. That's how life is. But I appreciate you taking time to be part of the Hot Mic, Jeff. It's always fun. Go to abovetheline.com. I've been lobbying Jeff, and I've pitched him 20 stories. At some point, I'm going to break through and get one of these stories on there. We shall see, and I'll let you guys know about it for sure. All right, y'all take care of yourselves. Have a good Friday, and we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of the Hot Mic. Peace.